I'm R. Sucharita, Government Degree College, Khairatabad, Hyderabad, Department of English. So, we are going to do the next part and the continuation of this lesson, that is the Kite Maker, which is written by Ruskin Bond. So, we'll see. So, kite flying was then the sport of kings, and the old man remembered how the Nawab himself would come down to the riverside with his retinue to participate in this noble pastime. There was time then to spend an idle hour with a gay, dancing strip of paper. Now everyone hurried in a heat of hope, and delicate things like kites and daydreams were trampled underfoot. So, this kite flying, it was then the sport of kings. Okay, it was then the sport of kings. The kings also, in those leisurely days, they would fly these kites. Especially, you can see the old Nawab. So, he is the Nawab in those days who. So, this is the old man remembered how the Nawab himself, he would come down to the riverside with his retinue. With his retinue means a group of people accompanying an important person. Along with this Nawab, there were so many people. There were so many people who were like the important persons who would accompany this Nawab, and the Nawab, he would come to the riverside and he would fly the kite. So those were the days of the Nawab, who would fly kites by the riverside with a group of people around him in this noble pastime. So there was time then to spend an idle hour with gay dancing strip of paper. So they had idle hours to spend time. Now everyone hurried in a heat of hope, and delicate things like kites and daydreams were trampled underfoot. Now it had become an electronic gadgets age. So most of the people, they are spending their time on the internet with their mobiles and with their computers and with their laptops, etc., etc. So though in those days they had a lot of time when there was no internet, but now all these, they are trampled, they are stamped under the foot. So he, Mahmud, the kite maker, had in the prime of his life been well known throughout the city. So Mahmud the kite maker, he was the old man. He was well known throughout the city because he was an expert kite maker, and he was the kite maker of many special kites like the dragon kite and the dragon kite we can see, and the kite, the crawling serpent kite, and the Garuda kite, etc., etc. He was known for all these things. That is the special kites which he had made. So, like that, had in the prime of his life been well known throughout the city. Some of his more elaborate kites once sold for as much as 3 or 4 rupees each. So, in those days, these kites, which were sold for 3 or 4 rupees, is the high price. Okay, it is a very high price. That is where when you get a kite for 3 or 4 rupees, it is a very large amount. So, like that, at the request of the Nawab, he had once made a very special kind of kite. So, the Nawab, what did he do? He requested the grandfather, that is Mahmud, to make for him a very special kind of kite. So Mahmud, he was very much excited, he was very happy, and then unlike any that had been seen in the district, so he thought that it should be a very special kind of kite, that which was not made before. It should be a new one. So it consisted of a series of small, very light paper discs trailing on a thin bamboo frame. To the end of each disc, he fixed a sprig of grass, forming a balance on both sides. So the surface of the foremost disc was slightly convex, and a fantastic face was painted on it, having two eyes made of small mirrors. So the disc, decreasing in size from head to tail, assumed an undulatory form and gave the kite the appearance of a crawling serpent. It required great skill to raise this cumbersome device from the ground, and only Mahmud could manage it. So, here on the slide, you can see this crawling serpent kite, which was made by Mahmud for the Nawab, and this was very, very cumbersome. That means it was a very heavy kite. So, on the request of the Nawab, he made this special kind of kite, and he made this with the thin bamboo frame. And there were very light paper discs which were trailing. And then to the end of each disc, he fixed a sprig of grass, and that was forming a balance on both sides. So the surface of the foremost disc, it was slightly convex, and fantastic face is also painted on that kite, having two eyes made of small mirrors, and the eyes of that serpent, it was made of small mirrors. So this is a kite which can be flown by the Nawab. So the disc, decreasing in size from head to tail, so assumed an undulatory form and gave the kite the appearance of a crawling serpent. So you can see the crawling serpent like kite. So undulating means it is which is having a wave-like appearance. Okay, so the continuous ups and downs or waves like appearance is called as undulatory form, and gave the kite the appearance of a crawling serpent. It required great skill to raise this cumbersome device from the ground, and only Mahmud could manage this. Okay, so like that, everyone had heard the dragon kite that Mahmud had built, and word went around that it possessed supernatural powers. A large crowd assembled in the open to watch its first public launching in the presence of the Nawab, and this is the dragon kite. So everyone, they heard about this dragon kite, and that Mahmud had built. So this dragon kite, it was built by Mahmud, and word went around that it possessed supernatural power. So everybody were speaking that this dragon kite, it had some supernatural powers. So a large crowd assembled in the open to watch. So a large crowd, it assembled in the open ground, and it was watching. The crowd was watching along with Nawab. Okay, open to watch its first public launching in the presence of the Nawab. So, in the presence of the Nawab, all the people, they were watching. They were watching this first public launching in the presence of the Nawab. So, at the first attempt, it refused to leave the ground. So, in the beginning, the dragon kite, it refused to leave the ground. The disc made a plaintive protesting sound. So the disc, that is the kite which had the disc it was making a different sound. It was making a plaintive, protesting sound that it is not going to leave the ground. And the sun was trapped in the little mirrors. So the eyes were made of mirrors, and the sun was, you can see the sun in those little mirrors, making of the kite a living, complaining creature. So you will feel that that kite, it is somewhat complaining. It is, we feel that it is like a complaining creature. So then the wind came from the right direction, and the dragon kite soared into the sky. So when it came from the right direction, the dragon kite, it slowly went into the sky. It soared into the sky means it went very, very high, and it was wriggling its way higher and higher. So, wriggle means to twist or turn the body with short, quick movements. It was making a twisting turns in the sky. Higher and higher it went, and the sun still glinting in its devil's eyes. So its eyes looked like the devil. And then you can see though that sun which is still glinting in those devil's eyes. And when it went very high, it pulled fiercely on the twine, and Mahmud's young sons had to help him with the reel. And Mahmud's young sons also, they also came to that place, and they helped him with the reel. They caught that reel which is called as cherak. Still the kite pulled, determining to be free, to break loose, to live a life of its own. So it want to break for itself, and it felt as though it wants liberty, and it want to live completely. So higher and higher, the sun still glinting in its devil's eyes. So still the kite pulled, determined to be free, to break loose. It want to break and to live a life of its own. It want to be liberated, and eventually it did so. And slowly after that, the kite and the thread, they were broken. And the kite, as it wants to be liberated, so it was free, it was liberated, and the twine snapped. The kite leaped toward away toward the sun, sailing on heavenward until it was lost to view. So now you cannot see this dragon kite. So it lost its view. It lost its view, and it went, and it was soaring high and high into the sky. And you cannot see the dragon kite now. It was never found away toward, it was never found again. If you want to see the dragon kite, it was not found. We don't know where it went. It went high into the sky, and don't know what happened to that dragon kite. And Mahmud wondered afterwards if he made too vivid, too living a thing of the great kite. So Mahmud was very much wondered about this, and afterwards he made too vivid. He made, vivid means it is brightly colored. Okay, so it was very colorful, and it was very bright. Too living thing of the great kite. So we feel that when we see the dragon kite, really it is a living creature. So so beautifully it was made by this expert kite maker, who is Mahmud. He did not make another like that. So he did not make another kite like this dragon kite. Instead, he presented to the Nawab a musical kite, one that made a sound like a violin. Then, when this dragon kite, when it was lost high up in the sky, then afterwards, for the Nawab, he presented a musical kite. So this musical kite, it made a sound. It made a beautiful music like a violin, the musical instrument, when it rose into the air. When the kite is slowly flying into the air, it will be making the of sound of music like violin. So when it slowly soars into the air, when it slowly rises into the air, then we can listen to the musical sound like a violin which is played. So this so those were more leisurely, more spacious days. So that is why people they enjoyed with this kind of kites. That is the we have seen the dragon kite and the crawling serpent kite also we have seen. So great people like the Nawabs with their retinue, that is with a group of people, he would come to the riverside and he would fly these kites and he would enjoy in that kite flying. Okay, and the last part we are going to do in the next video. Then thank you.